The alarm clock buzzed at 6 a.m., just like it had every morning for the past 3 years. David rolled over in his empty bed and stared at the ceiling. Another day, another lonely breakfast, another quiet evening ahead. At 32 years old, he had given up on finding someone special. His job as a space researcher kept him busy, but the silence in his small apartment felt heavier each day. Today was different, though. Today, everything would change. David worked at the Global Space Center, where scientists studied life beyond Earth. Just last month, something incredible happened. Aliens made contact with humans for the first time ever. Not the scary kind from movies, but friendly beings called Zephyrians who wanted to learn about human culture. The government started a special program where humans and aliens could live together. To understand each other better, David signed up immediately, not because he was brave, but because he was curious. Also, he figured living with an alien couldn't be worse than living alone. He grabbed his coffee and checked his phone. 3 missed calls from his boss. His heart jumped. This could be it, David. Get down here right now, his boss said when he called back. Your alien partner just arrived. The drive to the center felt like the longest 20 minutes of his life. David's hand shook as he parked his car. What would this alien look like? Would they even be able to talk to each other? Would they want to eat him? The main building buzzed with activity. Scientists, government officials, and reporters filled every corner. David pushed through the crowd until he reached the special meeting room. Through the glass door, he saw something that made him stop breathing. A small figure sat at the round table, no taller than a 12-year-old child. Her skin glowed with a soft blue light, like moonbeams on water. Tiny silver markings covered her arms and face, twinkling like stars. She had large, kind eyes that seemed to hold all the wisdom in the universe. When she saw David, she smiled the most beautiful smile he had ever seen. You must be David, she said in perfect English, her voice like gentle music. My name is Luna. I'm your assigned wife. David nearly choked on his own spit. My what now? Luna tilted her head, confused by his reaction. Wife, life partner. The person who will take care of you and live with you always. My government studied human behavior for many years. We learned that humans need constant companionship to stay mentally healthy. So we created the wife assignment program. But I didn't ask for a wife, David stammered. Of course not, Luna replied matter-of-factly. Humans are terrible at taking care of themselves. That's why we assign wives to help you. I have been specially trained to understand human needs and emotions. The government official in the room, a stern woman in a black suit, cleared her throat. This is all perfectly legal and approved by both planets' leaders. Luna has official documentation and will be staying at your residence for the next year. As part of the cultural exchange, David looked at the papers she handed him. Everything seemed official, with stamps and signatures he couldn't read. At the bottom, in clear English, it said, Luna of Zephyr is hereby assigned as the domestic partner and cultural guide for David. Chen of Earth, I don't understand, David said weakly. Why me? Luna stood up, barely reaching his shoulder. You volunteered for the program, and our computers matched us perfectly. You are a scientist who studies space, so you will understand my culture. You live alone and seem lonely based on your social media profiles. And most importantly, you have a kind heart. You study my social media. Of course. How else would we know if we were compatible? Luna pulled out a device that looked like a crystal tablet. David's Instagram photos appeared on the screen. You love science. You cook simple meals. You watch documentaries about space. And you have a pet fish named Bubbles. We are very similar. David glanced at the official, who nodded encouragingly. The program is completely voluntary, she said, but backing out now would create serious diplomatic issues between Earth and Zephyr. No pressure or anything, David muttered. Luna approached him slowly, her silver markings glowing brighter. I know this is strange for you. It is strange for me too. On my planet, marriages are arranged by the government based on scientific compatibility. But I chose to come here because I wanted to understand human love and emotions. I promise I will be a good wife and take excellent care of you. Something in her voice made David's chest feel warm. She seemed so sincere, so hopeful. And honestly, his life had been pretty boring lately. Maybe having an alien roommate wouldn't be so bad, okay? He said finally, I guess we're doing this. Luna's smile could have powered the entire city. Wonderful. I have brought many gifts from my home planet, and several instructional manuals about human behavior. This will be a great learning experience for both of us, the official handed David. A thick folder. This contains all the legal documents, emergency contacts, and guidelines for the program. Luna has been briefed on human customs and his basic medical knowledge. Good luck to both of you. As they walked to David's car, Luna chattered excitedly about everything she wanted to learn about Earth. She asked questions about traffic lights, wondered why humans covered their feet with shoes, and was fascinated by the concept of weekend breaks from work on Zephyr. We work every day until we die, she explained cheerfully. But humans are much more interesting with your rest periods and recreational activities. David unlocked his apartment door, suddenly embarrassed by how messy it was. Dirty dishes filled the sink, clothes covered the couch, and poor Bubbles swam in a tank that needed cleaning. Luna looked around with genuine interest. Not judgment. This is perfect, she announced, very authentically human. I will help you organize everything and make it more efficient. You really don't have to, David said quickly. But I want to. Taking care of you is my purpose here. Luna set down a large silver suitcase that seemed to hum with energy. I brought cleaning supplies from my planet that will make everything sparkle. Also, I have been studying human nutrition and can prepare much healthier meals than those frozen packages in your freezer. David couldn't help but laugh. You really did study my social media, didn't you? Luna's markings glowed pink, which David guessed was her version of blushing. I wanted to be prepared. This assignment is very important to me. As the evening approached, they sat on David's couch, trying to figure out sleeping arrangements and house rules. Luna didn't seem to understand personal space the way humans did. Sitting close enough that David could feel the gentle warmth radiating from her glowing skin. On my planet, married couples share everything, she explained, thoughts, emotions, even dreams sometimes. But I understand humans need more privacy. I will learn your boundaries. Thank you, David said, surprised by how considerate she was. Bing. Thunder rumbled outside, and rain began pattering against the windows. Luna's glow dimmed slightly, and she moved closer to David. Storms frighten me, she admitted quietly. On Zephyr, we live underground to avoid the dangerous weather. Without thinking, David put his arm around her small shoulders. It's okay. Earth storms are mostly harmless, just noise and water. Luna's markings began to glow brighter, filling the dark room with soft, comforting light. Better? David realized he felt more confident in this moment than he had in years. Yeah, much better. Outside, the storm raged on, but inside the small apartment, two beings from different worlds sat together in gentle silence, beginning to understand that maybe they weren't so different after all. David woke up to the smell of something delicious cooking in his kitchen. For a moment, he forgot about everything that happened yesterday. Then he remembered Luna, the petite alien who was now supposedly his wife according to some intergalactic program. He stumbled out of bed and found Luna standing at his stove, humming a melody that sounded like wind chimes. She had somehow transformed his basic kitchen into something that looked like it belonged in a fancy restaurant. Strange blue lights floated above the cooking pans, and the air sparkled with what looked like edible glitter. Good morning, David, Luna said cheerfully. I have prepared breakfast using Earth ingredients, but with Zephyrian cooking techniques. The nutritional value is now 3 times higher than your usual frozen waffles. David rubbed his eyes. How did you do all this? Luna gestured to a small crystal device on the counter. This is a molecular enhancer. It reorganizes food at the atomic level to maximize health benefits while maintaining taste. Very simple technology on my planet. The breakfast tasted incredible. David had never experienced flavors so rich and complex. This is amazing, he said between bites. Luna's markings glowed bright gold with pride. I'm glad you approve. Taking care of your nutrition is one of my primary responsibilities as your assigned partner. After breakfast, David had to go to work, but Luna insisted on coming with him. I need to observe your daily routines to better understand human behavior. She explained. At the research center, Luna became the center of attention. She answered questions about her home planet with patience and enthusiasm. When someone asked about Zephyrian technology, she pulled out devices that seemed impossible to David's human understanding. This is a thought translator, she explained, holding up what looked like a silver headband. On my planet, we can share thoughts and emotions directly. Would you like to try it, David? Is it safe? David asked nervously. Completely. It only works between compatible minds. Luna placed the device on both their heads. Suddenly, David could feel her emotions flowing through him like warm honey. Her genuine care for his well-being, her excitement about learning human culture, and something else deeper that she was trying to hide. She could feel his emotions too. His loneliness from all those years living alone, his growing fascination with her world, and his surprise at how comfortable he felt around her. They both removed the headbands quickly, embarrassed by the intimate connection. That was, David started. Very enlightening, Luna finished, her markings turning a soft pink color. That evening, David decided to introduce Luna to human entertainment. He put on his favorite movie, a romantic comedy about two people who meet by accident and fall in love. Luna watched with intense concentration, asking questions throughout the film. Why does the man lie to the woman about his job? She asked. On my planet, dishonesty in partnerships results in immediate separation. It's complicated. David tried to explain. Humans sometimes lie because they're afraid of being rejected. But if someone rejects you for who you truly are, then they are not a suitable partner. Luna said logically. This makes no sense. David realized she was absolutely right. You know what? You're probably smarter about relationships than most humans. After the movie, Luna wanted to try cooking human food her way. She took David's simple pasta recipe and transformed it into something extraordinary using her alien technology. They ate dinner by the light of her glowing skin, sharing stories about their different worlds. On Zephyr, we don't have music like humans do, Luna explained. We communicate through light patterns and color changes. But I find human music fascinating. David played different songs for her, watching her markings change color with each melody. Classical music made her glow soft blue, rock music turned her bright orange, and love songs made her shimmer silver and gold. Play that last one again, she requested when he played a gentle acoustic song about finding someone special. As the music filled the room, Luna began to move in a way that could only be described as dancing. Though it was unlike any human dance David had ever seen, she seemed to float, her entire body glowing in rhythm with the melody. This is how we express joy on my planet, she explained, still swaying to the music. David felt brave enough to join her, even though he was a terrible dancer. Luna laughed, a sound like silver bells, and gently guided his movements until they were dancing together in perfect harmony. The next morning, David had to make a video call to his parents to explain his new living situation. He was dreading their reaction. Mom, Dad, I need to tell you something important, he began, with Luna sitting beside him on the couch. His mother's eyes widened when she saw Luna. David, who is this lovely young lady? This is Luna. She's from another planet, and we're part of a cultural exchange program. His father adjusted his glasses and leaned closer to the screen. Another planet, like actual outer space. Luna waved politely. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Chen. I am very pleased to meet David's family. He speaks of you often with great affection. David's mother immediately warmed up to Luna. Oh my goodness, you're so polite, and you're so tiny and beautiful. Are you taking good care of our David? It is my primary function, Luna replied seriously. I ensure he eats nutritious meals, maintains proper sleep schedules, and experiences emotional well-being. She sounds perfect for you, David's mother whispered loudly. Don't mess this up, David. After the call ended, David felt embarrassed. I'm sorry about my mom. She can be a bit much. I liked her very much, Luna said sincerely. Family bonds are important for human emotional health. Your parents clearly love you deeply. That evening, they established house rules together. Luna needed 4 hours of meditation under starlight each night, which meant keeping the balcony door open. David needed alone time to read and decompress from work. They agreed to share cooking duties and take turns choosing evening entertainment. This partnership is working much better than my government predicted, Luna admitted as they sat together watching the stars. Most Zephyrians believed humans would be too chaotic and emotional to live with peacefully. What do you think now? David asked. Luna's markings glowed. Thoughtfully, I think humans are more complex and wonderful than my people realize. You have something we lost long ago on our planet. What's that? The ability to choose your own path in life, especially in matters of the heart. David looked at her glowing profile against the night sky and realized something was changing in his feelings toward her. She wasn't just an alien roommate anymore. She was becoming something more precious to him each day. Luna, he said softly, yes, I'm glad you were assigned to me. Her entire body glowed bright gold. I'm glad to, David, more glad than my government would approve of. They sat together in comfortable silence, watching the stars that connected their two worlds, both feeling something growing between them that neither of their planets had planned for. 3 weeks had passed since Luna arrived, and David's life had completely transformed. His apartment was cleaner, his meals were healthier, and he actually looked forward to coming home each day. Luna had become his best friend, and if he was being honest with himself, something much more than that. That's why seeing Rebecca at the grocery store felt like a punch to the stomach. David, oh my goodness, is that really you? His ex-girlfriend approached with a bright smile, looking exactly as beautiful as she had 2 years ago when she left him for a job in another city. Luna stood beside him, carefully examining a display of apples with scientific intensity. She had become fascinated by Earth's variety of foods and spent considerable time studying their nutritional properties. Rebecca, hi, David managed to say. What are you doing back in town? I got transferred. Back? Isn't that amazing? I was hoping we could catch up sometime. Rebecca's eyes shifted to Luna, who was now glowing a subtle orange color, which David had learned meant she was alert to potential danger. This is Luna, David said awkwardly. She's staying with me through a government program. Rebecca raised an eyebrow. Government program? I'm David's assigned cultural partner. Luna explained in her direct way. I am from the planet Zephyr, and we are participating in the first interplanetary relationship study. Rebecca stared at Luna for a long moment, then laughed. Very funny, David. Where did you find such a creative friend? Is this some kind of costume party thing? Luna's markings flared brighter orange. I'm not wearing a costume. I am genuinely from another world. To prove her point, Luna made her crystal device appear from thin air and used it to scan Rebecca from head to toe. The device beeped and displayed Rebecca's complete medical information in floating holographic text. Rebecca's mouth fell open. How did you do that? Advanced Zephyrian technology, Luna replied matter-of-factly. Also, you should increase your vitamin D intake. Your levels are concerning. David quickly guided them away from the growing crowd of curious shoppers. We should probably go. Call me, Rebecca said, pressing a piece of paper with her number into David's hand. I'd love to hear more about this space program. In the car, Luna was unusually quiet. Her normal golden glow had faded to a dim blue. Are you okay? David asked. I have been analyzing the interaction with the female human Rebecca, Luna said, carefully, based on your emotional responses during the encounter. I believe she was previously your romantic partner. David's hands tightened on the steering wheel. She was my girlfriend 2 years ago. She left for a job opportunity, and we broke up, and now she has returned. Yeah, do you still have feelings for her? David considered lying, but Luna's thought-reading device had shown him that dishonesty was pointless between them. I don't know. I thought I was over her, but seeing her again brought back a lot of memories. Luna's glow dimmed even further. I understand. She is very beautiful by human standards, and you have history together. It is natural that you would prefer her companionship to an artificial arrangement with an alien. Luna, that's not, it is fine. David, I always knew this. Assignment was temporary. My government expects me to return to Zephyr eventually, but it wasn't fine. David could see that Luna was hurt, even though she was trying to hide it. Her markings had turned a sad purple color he had never seen before. That evening, David's crystal communicator rang with an incoming call from space. Luna answered it, and suddenly the living room filled with holographic images of three tall, elegant Zephyrians wearing official-looking robes, Luna of the House of Starlight. The center figure spoke in the musical Zephyrian language. Luna responded, but David could tell from her increasingly dim glow that she was receiving bad news. After the call ended, Luna sat heavily on the couch, looking smaller than ever. What did they say? David asked gently. The Zephyrian Council is concerned about my reports. They believe I am becoming too emotionally attached to human culture and to you specifically. They want to recall me early and send a replacement. What? They can't do that. They can. According to our law, excessive emotional involvement compromises the scientific validity of the study. Luna's voice was barely above a whisper. They say I am no longer objective enough to fulfill my duties. David felt anger rising in his chest. That's ridiculous. You've been doing an amazing job. You've learned more about human culture than anyone expected. But I have also developed feelings that go beyond my assigned parameters, Luna admitted, her markings flickering between purple and pink on my planet. Such emotional attachment is considered a weakness and a failure of duty. Before David could respond, their conversation was interrupted by loud shouting outside. They looked out the window to see a group of protesters gathering in the street, holding signs that read "Aliens go home" and "Earth for humans only." Oh no, David muttered. The crowd was growing larger, and some people were pointing directly at David's apartment building. Apparently, word had spread about Luna's presence in the neighborhood. We should call the police, David said, reaching for his phone. No, Luna said firmly, standing up with renewed determination. I will not hide from ignorant humans who fear what they do not understand. She walked toward the door, but David caught her arm. Luna, wait, they could be dangerous. I am not helpless, David. On my planet, I am trained in defensive techniques that humans could not comprehend. As if summoned by their conversation, several protesters began pounding on the apartment building's front door. David could hear them, demanding that the alien freak come outside. Luna's entire body began to glow with an intensity David had never seen before. Her markings shifted from purple to brilliant white, and the air around her seemed to shimmer with energy. Stay behind me, she instructed David. They went down to the building's entrance, where Luna calmly opened the door to face the angry crowd. The protesters immediately fell silent, apparently not expecting such a small, delicate-looking being. I am Luna of Zephyr, she announced, her voice carrying clearly across the street. I come in peace as part of an official diplomatic program, approved by your government. I mean no harm to any human. You don't belong here, shouted someone from the back of the crowd. Perhaps not, Luna replied calmly. But I am here now, learning about your culture and sharing mine. Is this not what intelligent beings should do? Learn from each other rather than fear each other. Her reasonable words seemed to diffuse some of the tension, but one angry man pushed forward. We don't want your kind here, changing our way of life. I have changed nothing except preparing better meals for one lonely human, Luna said with a slight smile. Is that truly so threatening? David stepped up beside her, his heart pounding but his resolve firm. Luna is my friend and my guest. She's done nothing but help me and try to understand our world. If you have a problem with the diplomatic program, take it up with the government, not with her. The crowd began to murmur among themselves, and David could see that some people were reconsidering their position. Luna's gentle manner and obvious lack of threat had caught them off guard. Just then, a news van pulled up, and reporters began filming the scene. The protesters, suddenly aware they were being recorded, began to disperse rather than be seen harassing a small alien who was clearly not dangerous. As the crowd melted away, Luna swayed slightly on her feet. David caught her arm and realized she was exhausted. Using that much defensive energy drains me, she explained weakly. David helped her back upstairs, his mind racing with everything that had happened. Rebecca's return, Luna's possible recall to her home planet, and now anti-alien protesters threatening their safety. Luna, he said as they sat on the couch together, I need you to know something. She looked at him with those large, wise eyes. I don't care what your government says about emotional attachment. You're not just an assignment to me anymore. You're important. You matter. And I'm not going to let anyone take you away without a fight. Luna's markings began to glow soft gold again. Even if it means giving up the chance to reunite with Rebecca. David took her small hand in his, especially then. Rebecca is my past. But you, Luna, you might just be my future. For the first time since the protesters arrived. Luna smiled her radiant smile. Then we face whatever comes next together. Outside, storm clouds gathered in the sky. But inside the small apartment, two beings from different worlds held onto each other and prepared to fight for something neither of their governments had planned for them to find. David woke up to find Luna sitting by the window, staring at the stars with tears streaming down her glowing cheeks. He had never seen her cry before, and the sight made his heart ache. They're coming for me today, she whispered without turning around. The Zephyrian Council sent a transport ship. I have to go back home. David sat beside her, trying to process the words. What do you mean? I thought we had more time. My supervisor contacted me an hour ago. They reviewed all my reports and decided I have become too emotionally compromised to continue the mission. They say I have forgotten my duty to my planet. Luna's markings flickered between sad purple and resigned gray. They're right, David. I was supposed to study human emotions, not develop them myself. But that's exactly what makes you so good at this job, David argued. You understand humans because you've learned to feel like we do. Luna finally looked at him, her eyes filled with pain. My people don't see it that way. On Zephyr, emotions are considered a weakness that clouds judgment. They believe I have been infected by human irrationality. David felt panic rising in his chest. How long do we have? The ship arrives at noon. I have 6 hours to pack my belongings and prepare my final report. Luna stood up slowly, her usual graceful movements heavy with sadness. I'm sorry, David. I never meant for this to happen. Sorry for what? For being the best thing that ever happened to me. David jumped up, his voice rising with desperation. Luna, you can't just leave. We have something special here. Special? Luna turned around, her markings suddenly flaring, bright red with anger. David, this was never real. I was assigned to you like a piece of equipment. The wife assignment program was just an experiment to see if Zephyrians could manipulate human emotions effectively. The words hit David like a physical blow. What are you talking about? Luna's voice cracked as she continued. I wasn't supposed to tell you this, but you deserve the truth. The program wasn't about cultural exchange. My government wanted to test whether we could control human behavior through emotional attachment. Every moment of kindness, every shared meal, every laugh we had together was part of my mission to make you dependent on me. David felt the room spinning around him. That's not true. What we have is real, is it? Luna's markings pulsed with conflicted colors. How do you know the difference between genuine feelings and program responses? How do you know I'm not just very good at my job? Because I know you, David said firmly, stepping closer to her. I've seen you when you think no one is watching. I've felt your real emotions through that thought device. You can't fake the way you glow when you're happy or how you dim when you're sad. Luna looked away. Maybe you only see what you want to see. David gently took her hands, feeling the familiar warmth of her skin. Luna, look at me. Really look at me. Do you feel nothing when we're together? Was dancing to music just an experiment? Was taking care of me when I was sick just following orders? For a moment, Luna's facade cracked, and David saw the truth in her eyes. But before she could answer, a loud humming sound filled the apartment. Outside the window, a sleek silver ship descended from the clouds, unlike anything humans had ever built. "They're early," Luna whispered, her face going pale blue with fear. Two tall Zephyrians in official robes appeared at David's door without bothering to knock. They simply walked through the wall as if it was made of mist. "Luna of the House of Starlight," the taller one spoke in heavily accented English. "You will come with us immediately. Your mission here has ended." "Wait," David stepped forward, trying to protect Luna. "She's not ready to leave. We need more time." The second Zephyrian looked at David with cold, calculating eyes. "Human David. Chen, you have served your purpose in this experiment. Luna will return to Zephyr for debriefing and reassignment to a more suitable mission. Experiment." David felt his anger building. Luna isn't just some tool you can use and throw away. She's a person with feelings and rights. "Zephyrians do not have rights in the way humans understand them," the first official replied. "We have duties and assignments Luna has failed in. Her duty by developing inappropriate emotional attachments." Luna stepped between David and the officials, her markings blazing with sudden determination. "Wait, before I go, I want to make something clear." She turned to face the Zephyrian Council representatives. "This human has done nothing wrong. The failure was mine alone." "Luna, don't," David said quietly. "No, David, you need to hear this." "Two," Luna's voice grew stronger. "When I volunteered for this mission, I told my superiors I believed genuine connection between species was possible. They assigned me to you because they thought I would fail and prove that emotional bonds only make us weak." She looked directly at David, her markings glowing with pure, honest light. "But I didn't fail. I succeeded beyond their expectations and beyond my own. What I found with you wasn't manipulation or programming. It was real love, the kind my people have forgotten how to experience." The Zephyrian officials looked shocked. "You admit to compromising the mission?" "I admit to discovering something more valuable than any mission," Luna replied firmly. "I choose to stay here with David. You cannot choose," the taller official said sternly. "You are property of the Zephyrian state, assigned to specific duties. Personal choice is not permitted." David felt rage building inside him like he had never experienced before. "Property? She's not property. She's a living being with thoughts and feelings. Human emotions are irrelevant," the second official stated. "Luna will return with us immediately." "No." Luna planted her feet firmly on the ground, her entire body now glowing with defiant golden light. "I refuse to go." The officials exchanged glances, clearly not expecting resistance. "If you do not comply willingly, we will use force." David stepped up beside Luna, taking her hand. "Then you'll have to go through me first." "David, you don't understand what you're risking," Luna said urgently. "If I defy the council, I can never return to Zephyr. I'll be exiled forever, and if you go back, you'll never be allowed to return to Earth." David replied. "They'll probably assign you to some boring desk job and forbid you from ever thinking about humans again." Luna squeezed his hand. "I would rather be exiled with you than free without you." The first official pulled out a device that looked like a crystalline net. "Enough of this emotional display. Luna, you will come with us now." But before they could act, David pulled out his phone and hit a speed dial number. "Dr. Williams? This is David Chen from the Space Research Center. I need you to contact the Earth Council immediately. Zephyrian officials are trying to forcibly remove Luna from the cultural exchange program against her will. You cannot involve human authorities in Zephyrian internal affairs," the official protested. "Actually, I can't," David said, thinking fast. "Luna is currently under the protection of the Earth-Zephyr Cultural Exchange Treaty. Any removal of participants requires approval from both planetary governments." Luna looked at David with amazement and growing hope. "Is that true?" "I have no idea," David admitted, "but it sounds official enough to buy us some time." The Zephyrian officials looked uncertain for the first time. They spoke rapidly in their own language, clearly debating what to do. Within minutes, David's phone rang. It was Dr. Williams from the Research Center. "David, I've contacted the Earth Council, and they're very interested in this situation. Apparently, Luna's case has become a test of the new interplanetary relationship laws. They want to hold a joint hearing between Earth and Zephyr to determine her legal status. David put the phone on speaker so everyone could hear. What does that mean? It means Luna gets to stay on Earth until the hearing is complete, and more importantly, she gets to choose legal representation from both planets. Luna's markings exploded with brilliant rainbow colors of joy and hope. The Zephyrian officials looked frustrated, but could not argue with legal procedure. This is highly irregular, the first official grumbled. So is love, David replied, pulling Luna close to him. As the officials reluctantly returned to their ship to report this unexpected development, Luna and David stood together in his apartment, holding each other tight. We did it, David whispered. We bought ourselves time. But what happens if the hearing doesn't go our way? Luna asked, her glow dimming with worry. David looked into her eyes, seeing the fear and hope mixed together. Then we'll face that. Together too. But Luna, I need you to know something. Even if this whole thing started as an experiment, what I feel for you is real. You're not just my assigned alien wife anymore. You're the person I want to choose to spend my life with. Luna's response was to glow so brightly that the whole apartment filled with warm, golden light. Then let's fight for the right to choose each other, David. Let's show both our worlds that love is stronger than duty. Outside, the Zephyrian ship disappeared into the clouds. But David and Luna knew this was just the beginning of their biggest challenge yet. They had declared their love for each other. But now they had to prove to two entire planets that their choice to be together was worth fighting for. The hearing was scheduled to take place in the Grand Assembly Hall of the Global Space Center, with representatives from both Earth and Zephyr attending in person. David had never been so nervous in his entire life. You look terrible, Luna said gently, adjusting his tie with her glowing fingers. Your stress levels are causing your skin to change color in very unattractive ways. David laughed despite his anxiety. Thanks for the confidence boost. I'm sorry. I'm nervous too. Luna's markings were shifting rapidly between different colors, something that happened when she was extremely worried. What if they decide to separate us permanently? What if they rule that my feelings are just programming and not real? Then we'll prove them wrong, David said, taking her hands. We'll show them that what we have is genuine. The past month had been a whirlwind of legal meetings, media interviews, and preparation. Their case had become famous across both planets. Some humans supported their right to choose love over duty, while others worried about the implications of humans and aliens forming relationships. The Zephyrian population was similarly divided. They walked into the assembly hall together, and David was amazed by what he saw. The room was filled with hundreds of people from both species. Human reporters sat next to Zephyrian observers, their different technologies creating a fascinating mix of cameras and floating crystal recording devices. At the front of the room sat a panel of judges, 3 humans and 3 Zephyrians, with one representative from a neutral alien species serving as the deciding vote. All rise for the Honorable Interplanetary Council, announced the bailiff. David and Luna stood with their legal team. They had chosen Dr. Patricia Williams from Earth and Commander Zix from Zephyr, a progressive Zephyrian who believed in individual choice. The lead judge, an elderly human woman with kind eyes, spoke first. We are here today to determine the legal status of Luna of Zephyr and her request to remain on Earth with David Chen of Earth. This case will set precedent for future interplanetary relationships. The Zephyrian prosecutor stood up first, a tall, imposing figure with silver markings that remained coldly steady. Honorable judges, Luna of the House of Starlight was assigned to David Chen as part of a scientific mission. Her duties were clearly defined, and her emotional attachment represents a failure to complete her assigned task. Under Zephyrian law, she must return to face consequences for her mission failure. Dr. Williams stood to respond. Honorable judges, Luna is not a piece of equipment to be recalled when inconvenient. She is a sentient being capable of making her own choices. Earth law recognizes the right of all intelligent beings to determine their own future, regardless of their planet of origin. But does Luna's emotional attachment represent genuine feeling, or simply advanced programming? Asked one of the Zephyrian judges. How can we distinguish between real love and successful manipulation? Luna asked permission to speak and was granted the floor. She stood gracefully, her markings glowing with calm determination. Honorable judges, I understand your skepticism. On Zephyr, we are taught that emotions are weaknesses that cloud logical thinking. But during my time with David, I learned something my people have forgotten. She paused, looking directly at the Zephyrian judges. Love doesn't make us weaker. It makes us stronger. It gives us something worth fighting for, something worth sacrificing for. When David was threatened by anti-alien protesters, I didn't protect him because it was my duty. I protected him because the thought of losing him was unbearable. Luna turned to face David, her glow becoming warmer. When I first arrived on Earth, I thought I understood humans based on data and observation. But living with David taught me that understanding someone means sharing their joys and sorrows, their fears and dreams. I learned to love human music because I wanted to experience joy the way David does. I learned to cook Earth food because I wanted to show care the way humans do. She faced the panel again. These feelings cannot be programmed or faked. They grew naturally from shared experiences and mutual respect. If you force me to return to Zephyr, you're not just separating two people who love each other, you're denying the possibility that our two species can truly understand and care for one another. David felt tears in his eyes as Luna spoke. He had never heard her express her feelings so eloquently. The neutral alien judge, a wise-looking being with blue skin and for arms, spoke next. David Chen, what do you have to say about this relationship? David stood up, his heart pounding. Your Honor, before Luna came into my life, I was lonely and disconnected from the world around me. I went through the motions of living without really experiencing joy or connection. Luna didn't just complete some assignment when she helped me. She saved me from a life of isolation. He looked at Luna, drawing strength from her encouraging glow. But more than that, she challenged me to become a better person. She made me want to understand her world, her culture, her dreams. She taught me that love isn't about finding someone exactly like you. It's about finding someone who helps you grow into the best version of yourself. David turned back. To the judges, Luna chose to stay with me, knowing she could never go home again. I choose to fight for her, knowing it might change everything about how our species interact. We're not asking you to approve of interplanetary marriage, or force anyone else to make the same choice. We're just asking for the right to choose each other. The judges deliberated for what felt like ours. David and Luna sat together, holding hands and trying to stay calm while their future hung in the balance. Finally, the judges returned. The neutral alien spoke for the panel. After careful consideration, this council rules that Luna of Zephyr has the legal right to choose her own residence. In relationships, however, we also recognize the concerns of the Zephyrian government about setting precedent for future assignments. David's heart sank. It sounded like a compromise that would satisfy no one. But the judge continued. Therefore, we propose a new framework. Luna and David will become the first official ambassadors for interspecies relationships. They will establish a research center dedicated to helping other humans and Zephyrians who wish to form connections across species. Boundaries. Luna's markings exploded with golden light. You mean you are free to stay together? The human judge confirmed with a smile. But your relationship comes with the responsibility of helping others navigate similar situations. The courtroom erupted in cheers from supporters of both species. David and Luna hugged each other, both crying with relief and joy. 6 months later, David and Luna stood in a beautiful garden ceremony, exchanging vows in both human and Zephyrian traditions. Luna wore a flowing white dress that complemented her natural blue glow, while David wore a traditional suit with Zephyrian ceremonial markings painted on his arms. I, David, choose you, Luna, not because you were assigned to me, but because you choose me every day, David said, his voice steady with conviction. I, Luna, choose you, David, not because of duty or programming, but because you taught me that the greatest strength is choosing to love someone freely. Luna replied, her entire body radiating happiness. Their wedding was attended by beings from multiple planets. and the ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy as a symbol of unity and choice. As they danced to their favorite song, the one that had brought them together on that first evening weeks ago, Luna whispered, "Do you think we'll inspire other couples like us?" David looked around at the celebration, seeing humans and Zephyrians dancing together, sharing food, and laughing at each other's jokes. In one corner, he spotted a young human woman teaching a group of Zephyrian children how to play guitar, while nearby, a Zephyrian scientist was showing human teenagers how to make their art glow with bioluminescent paint. "I think we already have," David replied. Their research center opened a year later, helping dozens of interspecies couples navigate the challenges of cross-cultural relationships. Luna's sister Stella arrived from Zephyr as part of the second wave of cultural exchanges. But this time, participants could choose their own partners instead of being assigned. David and Luna worked side by side, using their experience to guide others through the complexities of interplanetary love. They developed new communication technologies, created cultural guidebooks, and most importantly, proved that love could bridge any distance, even the space between worlds. On quiet evenings, they would sit on their balcony, watching the stars and sharing stories of the couples they had helped that day. Luna would glow softly in the darkness, while David pointed out constellations, both of them marveling at how far they had come from that awkward first meeting. "Do you ever regret choosing me over your original mission?" David asked one night. Luna considered the question seriously, as she always did. "I completed my original mission," she said finally. "I was sent to study human emotions and learn about love. I just didn't expect to become the subject of my own research." She curled up against David's side, her warmth mixing with his. "Besides, my new mission is much more interesting, helping others find what we found, showing our worlds that choice is more powerful than assignment, and building a future where love transcends the boundaries of space itself." David kissed the top of her head, breathing in the sweet scent that reminded him of starlight and possibility. "I love you,"